Hi y'all, welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be doing something a little different. Instead of gameplay, I want to cover the history of Disney Dreamlight Valley, from when it first released into early access in 2022 till now, the end of 2025. I'll cover all the major free updates, DLCs, and everything in between, and we'll really take a good look at how much this game has evolved over the last 3 years. On September 6, 2022, Something Magical starts and Disney Dreamlight Valley is officially released into early access. Now, with this early access release, we get 17 characters, 8 biomes, and shockingly enough, the very first star path, which ended up being the Pixar Fest star path. Along with that, we get an introduction to the story of the Forgetting, which we later on learn is only Act 1 of the overarching story of Disney Dreamlight Valley. Then on October 19th, 2022, we get the very first update, Prepare and Beware, which features Scar. Along with that, he continues the story of the Forgetting, which also unlocks the Vitalist Mines. Major patch notes and features that come with this update include plants being watered by rain, which until then, we had to water all of our crops ourselves. We got way more color swatches for our hair, and if you've been playing the game from the beginning, you know that Donald Duck threw a fit anywhere and everywhere, so they chilled out his tantrums just a little bit. And the star path that happened to be featured with this was the villain star path. On December 6, 2022, we got the last update of 2022, which was titled Missions in Uncharted Space, and it featured the characters of Buzz Lightyear, Woody, and Stitch. And with the addition of Buzz Lightyear and Woody, it brought the Toy Story realm, which happened to be the first realm added to the game since its release into early access. Major patch notes and features of this update include a day-night toggle, more royal tool upgrades, and a memory frame. We also got the first ever character skins, which ended up being for Merlin and Mickey Mouse, and we got the ability of interactive lighting. Before, lights would only turn on at night, and now we could turn them on manually whenever we wanted. We also got the ability to finish Wally and Minnie Mouse's level 10 quests, and Ariel was finally unlocked as a hangout villager. Shockingly enough, up until this point, we didn't have socks, so now our characters can wear socks. Kristoff got a stall improvement, so now he could sell a wider variety of things from the valley, and our wood distribution got wildly improved. Before then, it was very hard to get select types of wood, and so now they would spawn in certain biomes and make it much easier to collect. This update also brought the addition of moonstone packages, which could be a pro and a con depending on who you are. We also unlocked the ability to have a furniture item limit tracker. So now we can see how much we're placing in our valley. And finally, we could feed critters multiple times a day. Before, it was very painful to try and get a critter to be your friend, because you could only feed them once a day, which was basically once a week, depending on when they would spawn. And the star path that was featured was our very first holiday star path, which was the festive star path. Moving on to the first update of 2023, on February 16th, we got a Festival of Friendship update featuring the characters of Mirabelle and Olaf. Olaf was very exciting to get because he continued the story of the Forgetting as well as unlocking a very cool area people were curious about in the Frosted Heights. And Mirabelle was fun as well because you found a little doorknob in the meadow and had to try and unlock it and bring her to the valley. The major patch notes and features of this update, the premium shop was finally brought to the game. And with the addition of the premium shop, we got house skins. And I absolutely love house skins. It makes decorating so much more fun and makes your village so unique. We also got storage updates. You can now place things in fridges, wardrobes, and things of that nature, as well as interior door updates. Before, we could only use that little green interior door, you couldn't really move it. Now we can move them around on the walls, as well as change what they look like. This update also brought the Centennial Star Path. On April 5th, 2023, we get the Pride of the Valley update. This featured the characters of Simba and Nala, as well as bringing us the Lion King realm. Some of the major patch notes and features of this update include different selfie poses with your companions. So now we are able to pose with all of our friends, and they each have a separate pose, as well as companion houses. If you don't know what these are, you can either craft them, or I believe there are some in the premium shop now, where you can put 4 companions in it, place it in your valley, and they will wander around that section. As well as finally getting the well fed buff, which is essentially sprinting and gliding. Also, sitting refills your energy now, which is great, but I don't use that feature as much because I'd rather just eat a berry salad and continue sprinting. We also got the addition of the Disney Park Star Path, which brought attractions. Essentially, the attractions are Disney rides. We got the Ferris wheel, we got a Dumbo ride, and quite a few others. It was a very unique addition to the game. June 7th, 2023 brought us the Remembering update, and this was probably the biggest update for Disney Dreamlight Valley up until this point. It gave us the character of Fairy Godmother, so we finally figured out who was living in the pumpkin house in the Forgotten Lands, as well as completion of Act 1 of the story. Some of the other major patch notes and features include Touch of Magic for furniture items, and we got our very first Dream Bundle, which ended up being the Wally Dream Bundle. If you are unsure what that is, it is essentially extra questing for a specific character, and you normally get some extra furniture items or clothing and a skin for that character. We also got the addition of mannequins. You can now quick change into some of your favorite outfits in the game. This was also a very big update for decorating. We got the addition of multiple player homes and an increased item limit for people playing on PC. This also gave us the wonder of Pixar Star Path. On July 19th, 2023, we get the Dream Snaps update, and this features the character of Vanellope. And if you notice that the star path didn't change, that's because I believe this is the first and only time that an update came out in the middle of another star path. Now, the major patch notes and features include, obviously, Dream Snaps. And when this update came out, I didn't realize how important it was going to be to the game of Disney Dreamlight Valley. It completely changes the gameplay loop, because what it is a weekly theme where you dress up and decorate and you take a picture and you try to earn some moonstones. It is now probably one of the core mechanics of this game. We also got reduced energy drain from sprinting. Sprinting used to drain your energy bar almost immediately, so they significantly adjusted that. As well as less repeats in Scrooge's store. I don't know if you remember, but you used to go in every day and at least get one L-shaped couch, and now those rarely show up in my store. September 13th, 2023, we get the Enchanted Adventure update, featuring a brand new realm, the Beauty and the Beast realm. Therefore, we get Belle and Beast. Some of the major patch notes and features in this update include some questing for the Forgotten, which we haven't gotten anything to do with them since the end of Act 1, so it was a great way to keep adding them into our valley. We also got the Ursula Dream Bundle, as well as furniture pouch items could be now found in Scrooge's store. Before then, you used to have to hunt chests in your valley to hopefully find a pink furniture pouch and get one of the many items that you were hoping for. It made searching for things such as the veggie stand much easier, as well as you were able to get more paths and fences made when crafting. Before, you had to use all your resources and you would get one path or one fence. Now you can use the same number of resources and get 4 of each of those. And the star path that was featured with this was the Haunted Holiday Star Path, which was foreshadowing our very next character. The last update for 2023 came out on December 5th, and it was the Pumpkin King Returns. We unlocked the character Jack Skellington through a series of different puzzles, and it was very fun trying to unlock him. Some of the other patch notes and features with this update included an upgrade to the Valley Visit Station, so multiplayer had gotten quite a few different upgrades, as well as the glitchy pixels for duplicating things when you crafted or cooked with them. The glitchy pixels were a part of the multiplayer feature, so when you went to someone else's valley, you were able to find them on the ground. Now, they did live up to their name. They were glitchy. They brought a lot of bugs, but I know that those have all been patched out by now, and I personally don't use multiplayer that often, so it wasn't a huge update for me, but I do know that for people who use it, it was a huge, huge update and super exciting for them. And this also brought us the Royal Winter Star Path. December 5th, 2023 was very exciting for a whole other reason entirely as well. we had officially gotten the first DLC in Disney Dreamlight Valley, and this was titled A Rift in Time. And as you can see, I have 3 different dates listed for it, and that's because they chose to do this DLC in a 3-part release. You will see in the future as we go over other DLCs, they start minimizing the number of releases until it's just a single full release because they've learned that players like to play at their own pace. And there just wasn't quite enough content between the lengthy gaps of time between the releases. So in the first release, we get 3 characters. We have the ability to unlock Eve, Rapunzel, and Gaston. Later, on May 1st, we get Oswald. And finally, on August 21st, 2024, we get the addition of adding Jafar to our valley. Some of the major features that came with this DLC was the addition of the Stardust port. You locate it in the Dream Castle, and when you go in there, it was so awestrucking because as a player, you see all these different arches, which means all these different DLCs and things that they plan to add to the game. It was so exciting. So when you leave the Stardust port, you go to what is essentially a brand new valley. This new valley had 3 biomes. It had Ancient's Landing, Glittering Dunes, and the Wild Tangle. And within those biomes, there were subset sections. So this map was massive. And in each of these new biomes, we had a total of 3 new companion types. We got monkeys, capybaras, and snakes. Snakes was an interesting one for me. I was shocked to see that added. But along with that, we got a brand new royal tool. We have the Royal Hourglass now, which introduced time bending and collecting mist, which is essentially Dreamlight, and a whole lot of other things that led to crafting. Speaking of crafting, we got a ton of new furniture, crafting, meals, ingredients. Like I said before, this is a whole new valley. We have everything we had in the old valley, but replaced with new things for this. Fishing, it was so expansive and more than I could have ever imagined for this first DLC. This also introduced story trials. So throughout the story progression, there were little puzzles and things you had to do to keep going. It was super fun, and I'm so glad that they keep expanding on this feature with future DLCs and releases. This also introduced a new game mode called Scramble Coin. Now, the closest thing I could compare it to would be chess-like. It's super fun. It's a feature I don't play with very often, but it was totally unique and a welcomed addition to the game. Even though I said this didn't have quite enough content for a 3-part release, this DLC has an immense amount of content in it and was great for paving the way for future DLCs as well as future free updates. The first update of 2024 launches on February 28th, and it is the Laugh Floor update, where we get to go to the Monsters Inc. realm, and with it, meet 2 new characters, Mike and Sully. The major patch notes and features of this update include a larger Scrooge store, so we can now have more options of what to buy daily, a Starlight House bundle for Belle, which this is actually different than a Dream bundle. This just gives you all of your items straight up, you don't have to do a quest, you just get everything immediately in the bundle. It also gave us quite a few new features for character customization, such as changing your name, a bunch of new fun and colorful skin tones, total customization of your eyes, a couple of new ear options, and with this update, we also got the Lovely Monsters Star Path. Following that up, on May 1st, 2024, we get the Thrills and Frills update, and this brings a much wanted and beloved character, Daisy Duck, and she brings her sense of fashion with Daisy's Boutique. This is a shop where we are able to show off all of our Touch of Magic creations and even buy more items such as clothing and furniture to use Touch of Magic with. We also got a couple of multiplayer updates and the use of royal tools in all of our valley visits, as well as the ability to ride the attractions when you're in photo mode. That mostly came because this was a Day at Disney Star Path, which was a little controversial because it was almost identical to the one we had the year prior, just with different rides. Summer of 2024 was really a turning point, in my opinion, to making Disney Dreamlight Valley the game we know and love today. On June 26th, we got the Lucky Dragon update, which took us to the Mulan realm, which was one of the biggest realms we had ever seen. It was super interactive and so many different sections to explore. And with that realm, we got Mulan and Mushu. Some of the major patch notes and features that came with this update include brand new landscaping and Remy's wrought iron quests. Which, if you don't know what those are, basically it's a little daily quest you can do for Remy, and he'll give you wrought iron in return, and you can make some new craftables. We also got the Island Getaway House Bundle for Stitch, along with the ability to quick swap fences and paths. This was such a huge win because now, if you have enough of a path you want to use, you don't have to backtrack and delete all of your old path. You can just click and replace. Valley visits also got some improvements, along with a touch of magic toggle in camera mode, because you're technically not allowed to have touch of magic items in dream snaps, so the toggle made it where you can click, they'll go away, and you can easily take your dream snap. The Lucky Dragon update also gave us the Majesty and Magnolia's Star Path, and I think this is when Star Path started getting really detailed in the items they give us. Like I said previously, summer of 2024 was doing something right, and this update was no different. On August 21st, we got the Dapper Delights update, and this brought Tiana, as well as her restaurant, which was such an exciting addition to the game. We also got Ariel's Royal Bundle, PlayStation Crossplay, some major wardrobe and furniture mode improvements, so this is where we got the much needed filters, search bars, all of those things were added to our wardrobe and furniture mode, as well as the ability to save outfit presets. This is just like an upgraded version of the mannequins and kind of easier to access, as well as Goofy stall skins in the premium shop. I was so excited to see those, and I will always buy those. I think it's so worth it to get. We also got one of my favorite star paths of all time, the Dapper Delight Star Path. Moving on to October 9th, 2024, we get the Jungle Getaway update, where we have to go back to the Lion King realm to get Timon and Pumbaa. Some major patch notes and features in this update include additions to the controls in the settings menu, more glider options, the most exciting of these being wings, and the ability to track duties and crafting recipes when we're out and about. We also got the ability to pose with our royal tools and our handhelds in photo mode. The star path featured with this update was the night show, and this one was not everyone's favorite just because it had a very niche vibe. It was a little more punk rock. It had a lot of fun items in it, but I know it just wasn't the right fit for everybody. On November 20th, 2024, something very exciting happened, and we got the second DLC of Disney Dreamlight Valley. This one was titled The Storybook Vale, and it came out in two parts, November 20th and July 9th, 2025. On the first part, we got three characters, Merida, Flynn Rider, and Hades. We were also introduced to Maleficent, but she didn't join the valley with Aurora until July 9th of 2025. Some major features that came with this DLC include snippets and a new royal tool called the Royal Net, which this gave us snippet catching mechanic. Just like the other DLC, we got a whole new valley, a whole new map, which included three new biomes, the Bind, Ever After, and Mythopia. In each of those biomes, we got a total of three new companion types. We got owls, Pegasus, and dragons, and all of them are extremely cute. Similar to how we got Scramble Coin with Rift in Time, we got the ability to reorder story puzzles. I enjoy this one a little more because I'm more of a puzzle person, but I like that they've been adding an extra feature like this in each of those DLCs. Just like in Rift in Time, we got brand new furniture, crafting, meals, ingredients, fishing, landscaping, you name it, and we got it. They also improved the feature of story trials that were first introduced in A Rift in Time. This, I still believe, is my favorite DLC to date. Following the release of the Storybook Vale DLC, we get the final update of 2024 on December 4th, and that is the So Delightful update featuring another character from Nightmare Before Christmas, Sally. Some major patch notes and features included with this update are bonus rewards in our Star Path, so now we can earn some extra recolors of items we already earned in the Star Path, as well as an exclusive house skin. Alongside that, we get the Top Dream Snaps feature, where we can see the top 3 Dream Snaps of the previous week. Now, this next feature is a much requested feature for years in Disney Dreamlight Valley and completely changed the way everyone decorates. We finally got our 16-point rotation. as well as getting the first floating islands in the game. And I believe those islands were the Plaza, the Forest of Valor, the Sunlit Plateau, and the Frosted Heights, which is amazing. I've seen so many people do incredible things with those. For instance, people use them for dream snaps. I know I've made a couple videos of using some for storage islands and farming islands. They also use them as banishment islands for villager houses you don't want to see. And the star path that got featured with this update was the Frost and Fairies star path. The first update of 2025 definitely started out on a high note. February 26th, we got the Tales of Agrabah update, which brought two beloved characters, Aladdin and Jasmine, in the new Aladdin realm. Now, this realm took everything I loved about the Mulan realm and continued to expand upon it. It had so many different areas to explore. It even had its own little story to complete and puzzles to do to make sure you could bring Jasmine and Aladdin to your valley safely. Some of the major patch notes and features in this update include Tiana's slow cooker, where you could go in and you can put in all of the ingredients you need for a certain recipe, and you could slow cook it over time and you will get multiples of that recipe. This is where we also got some major cooking interface changes. Just like we did with the wardrobe and furniture menu, now we have a search bar in our cooking menu, as well as the ability to click on side tabs where you could see what people in the restaurant want and what people want for gifts. In this update, we got the rest of the floating islands because those ones needed water features. So it took Gameloft a little longer to get them into the game, but now we have them and they are absolutely beautiful. And finally, we got a whole ton of housing upgrades. We now are able to pick our layout based off of a grid instead of picking designated sizes. We also can change the alignment of wallpaper so we can try and make it look a little less wonky, as well as being able to get rid of mailboxes on houses that are not your primary house in the valley. The star path that was featured in this update was the Oasis Retreat star path. On April 23rd, 2025, we get the Wonderland Whimsy update, which brings us a brand new realm for Alice in Wonderland. The two characters that get featured in this update are Alice and the Cheshire Cat. Some of the major patch notes and features that came along with this update is a Star Wars collab. Now, I know this divided the community greatly. I would prefer live action stays out of the game. I enjoy it being more animated, but I will give them their dues. Every item made with this collab was absolutely beautiful. The sheer amount of detail was amazing. This is also where we got an insane upgrade to photo mode. We can now do so many toggles where we can turn on and off companions, villagers, we can change the time of day, we can change the weather, we can change the contrast and saturation. This changed Dream Snaps so much. With the addition of Cheshire Cat, he brought us the uncrafting station, and when it first was released in the game, it cost us Dreamlight to uncraft, so that was a little unfortunate, but in a future update, we'll see that it turns into star coins. And what the uncrafting station does is it makes it so you can uncraft all of those things you had to craft in the past, I'm looking at you, balloon arches, and get all of your resources back for them. Since Alice in Wonderland is all about tea time, we got an enhanced grid for our tables, so now we are able to place so many more things and much closer together. This also brought us the addition of well skins in the premium shop, and the star path that got featured with this update was the Garden of Whimsy. June 18th, 2025, we get the Mysteries of Skull Rock, probably one of the most anticipated updates for the Disney Dreamlight Valley community. If you've been playing the game as long as I have, you know from the very beginning that Skull Rock on Dazzle Beach has been sitting there staring at you, making you go, what on earth is in it? And on this day, we got to find out. This update brought us the characters of Peter Pan, and the Forgotten officially got to join the valley as a villager. With the Forgotten as a nameable villager, we got to do all sorts of friendship quests for them. And speaking of friendship questing, our companions now had the ability to be leveled and give us friendship gifts. We also got memory shard optimization. I'm not sure if you remember, but most of the time I would get star coins for my memories instead of a memory shard, and I'm sure you did too. Now that's changed, and you're more likely than not gonna get a new shard when you open a memory. 2025 was definitely the year of decorating because they also decided to give us diagonal pathing, and that completely changed the way I set up my valley. And PlayStation players, don't worry, we finally got PlayStation cross-save. It only took 3 years, but we're there, and the star path that was featured with this was the Adventures in Neverland star path. Moving on to August 20th, 2025, we get the Emotional Rescue update. And in this update, we get another new realm, the Inside Out realm, where we get to meet joy and sadness. Some of the major patch notes and features of this update include the ability to equip multiple companions now. And if you notice there are some companions that match villagers or from their world, we are now able to equip them to those villagers. We also get the addition of routine duties and star paths, and I personally really like these. They're nothing super complicated. Every week we get a new set of routine duties, and it just gives you some extra tokens. Like I said in the last part, this was definitely the year of decorating because we just got diagonal paths, now we have diagonal fences. We also get the ability to customize our ceilings just like we would our floors. This is where we got the uncrafting station revamp, where now everything costs star coins instead of Dreamlight. Another exciting feature that got added, we can place all of the stalls that we get in the main valley into our DLCs. So now we can put Kristoff's stall in there, we can put the gem stall, and they will all spawn with items from each DLC. We now also have the ability to add motifs into Dream Snaps. Think of it as kind of scrapbooking. I've seen people do some really creative things with it, so I'm curious how that will keep evolving over time. And finally, we got 3 Rift in Time floating islands. I hope they continue to expand this feature and give us floating islands from the other DLCs as well. And the star path that was featured with this update was the Retro Road Trip Star Path. On October 1st, 2025, we get the Return to Beast Castle update, where we have to go back to the Beauty and the Beast realm to get Cogsworth and Lumiere. Some of the major patch notes and features involved in this update include a Once Upon a Dream bundle where at the end you can see Belle and Beast dancing around the valley, as well as more photo mode toggles and improvements to that feature. We also get the introduction of floating festivals. It started with a Halloween festival where you can go in during the specific time period and solve puzzles to get fun, festive rewards. And finally, we get the introduction of Dream Castle skins. It started with the Halloween one, and clearly they have more planned in the future. The star path that was featured in this update was the Wishful Thinking star path, and I by far think this is my favorite star path ever, and they just did an amazing job with all of the details. November 19th, 2025 was a very exciting day for the Disney Dreamlight Valley community. On this day, we got the Wish Blossom Ranch DLC, and with it, we got all the content in one release, so everyone could play at their own pace, as well as the 4 new characters, Snow White, Cruella de Vil, Tinkerbell, and Tigger. Now, the key feature in this DLC is horses. I can't believe that we finally have mounts in Disney Dreamlight Valley. It is like a dream come true, and the horses are so customizable and they can do so many different things in your valley. Additionally, like the DLCs before, we got a brand new valley with 3 new biomes. We got the Wishing Alps, Pixie Acres, and Glamour Gulch, along with 3 new companion types, geese, skunks, and bumblebees. Following along suit like the other DLCs before, we got brand new furniture, crafting, meals, ingredients, landscaping, and so much more. This DLC took the story trials elements from the other DLCs and just took it to a whole other level with the unique Disney horses that come with it. Those 3 horses are Maximus, Con, and Pegasus. Along with the release of this DLC, we got the Deluxe Winter Holiday Bundle, which came with a Dream Castle skin, a Plaza Well skin, a Goofy stall, and so many more items. This DLC also added the ability to have skins for Scrooge's store and Remy's restaurant, which is such a huge win because we've been asking for that for so long. This brings us to the final update of 2025. On December 10th, we got the Winter Ball update featuring Princess Cinderella and tons of new and exciting features as well. One of those features being Dream Teams. Dream Teams are essentially like guilds. You'll have the ability to have 7 members, trade tons of items together, and even share your pictures. It definitely takes multiplayer to the next level, and I'm excited to see how they expand this feature in the future. They also added some updates to the Star Path where you're now able to track all 6 duties at once instead of just one at a time. And speaking of the Star Path, we also got the ability to auto-claim our duties and rewards. When you auto-claim your duties, it will just give you the tokens and take you to the next task. When you auto-claim your rewards, it will take every reward in the Star Path and do it numerically. We also got tons of new updates for Scrooge's store as well. We get the ability to return our items to him for 75% of its worth, as well as finally getting a search bar and filters in his store. No more are the days of scrolling and hoping you find what you're looking for. This update also brought a villager toggle in photo mode. Now you're probably thinking we already have a toggle to turn them on and off, which we do. But this toggle lets you add villagers to your picture, pause them, pose them, and take the best picture with whoever you want in the valley. Companions also got a little bit of a buff this update. Now all of their companion abilities are simplified. All the bunnies do the same thing, all the birds do the same thing, all the crocodiles do the same thing, and now we don't have to guess which one does what. And the final feature of this update is dynamic realm unlocks. I think this is an amazing feature, and I think it should have been in from the beginning, but I'm excited that it's here now for all of the new players, but as an old player, I'm kind of bummed that I spent so much Dreamlight. Essentially what it is when you go to unlock a realm, the first 3 will be 3,000 Dreamlight, the fourth will be 4,000, and it'll go up by 1,000 Dreamlight until you hit 15 doors. From that point, all the doors will be 15,000 Dreamlight. And the star path featured in this update was the Winter Warmth star path. What does that mean for the future of Disney Dreamlight Valley? Well, the good news is that they've already released the free content roadmap for the first half of 2026. Early 2026, bond over spaghetti and meatballs. Very clearly, this is Lady and the Tramp, and I'm excited to see how they get added to the game, because we have dogs as companions, but not as friends yet. In spring of 2026, we get to discover the beauty of nature alongside a free-spirited adventurer. That has to be Pocahontas. In summer of 2026, we get to embark on a mythological adventure. There is no way this is not Hercules. I would love to see Meg as well, but I will settle for Hercules for now. If you stayed till the end of the video, I am so grateful that you did. It was so much fun to go over and look at how much this game has changed over the last 3 years and how the community has changed it. I hope it continues to change and expand, and I would love for you to comment down below what kind of characters you want to see in the future of the game. What kind of DLCs would you like to see? Do you think there's anything that the game is currently missing? I truly believe that 2026 is going to be an amazing year for Disney Dreamlight Valley. I also believe it's going to be a super fun year for my channel here, because I plan on expanding and adding a couple of different games to the rotation. If you have a couple of favorite cozy games that you would love to see me try, please comment down below. If you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for some more fun content. And I will see y'all on our next adventure.